Sanford and Son legend, DemondWilson, may have starred as Lamont Sanford on the comical sitcom back in the day, but in real life he was not one to be messed with apparently. Matter of fact, according to what he recently revealed, neither was his co-star, the iconic Red Foxx. Don't take our word for it though, we'll let Demond explain exactly why he says both he and Red were strapped daily on the set of Sanford and Son, as well as why he says that he never liked the show from the jump. But y'all already know the drill. Before we get off into all of that, be sure to tap those like and subscribe buttons and hit that notification bell to stay up on all this old school goodness we dropping. Okay, now back to what DemondWilson has now spilled the beans about. In an interview with Comedy Hype, the Sanford and Son OG explained that there wasn't a day that went by where him nor Red didn't bring their trusted piece with them to work. And I ain't talking about the peace symbol, I'm talking about the kind of peace that'll protect in times of danger. And that's exactly what DemondWilson says they were doing behind the scenes and during the tapings of Sanford and Son. Why? Because according to him, neither him nor Red trusted the random 400 audience members enough to let their guards down. Because he says they never knew if a disturbed person was in the crowd waiting to do something to them, and the two definitely didn't feel protected enough by the show's security. Here's what he had to say about this.
I never did an episode when I wasn't strapped. Never. People knew that about me. Red too. I had a derringer.
Feel the need to have to carry it.
Because it had an audience. It wasn't. Somebody said, what separated your show from the others? I said, we weren't homogenized. At the end of the series, it said, Sanford and Son is recorded before a live studio audience. That was my voice. There was 400 people sitting up there. You didn't have to pass through a metal detector to get in that studio. What if somebody had they call it a psychotic episode?
Right.
We was gonna bust on them.
Demond also referenced the viral incident when Dave Chappelle was performing his stand-up and some apparently angry fan rushed him on stage. In Demond's eyes, that could have easily happened to him and Red back then too.
People go crazy at concerts, they don't do that? You didn't see that dude jump on the stage with Chappelle?
They did.
He wouldn't have jumped on the stage with me. They were sitting up in front of us, maybe 15 feet, and 4 tiers of people, 100 across. Red was strapped, I was strapped. You get ignorant, you're gonna get bust on.
Although Demond says he and Red always had them things on them while filming, it's a good thing they never had to use it. And speaking of the Sanford and Son OG, although DemondWilson made all of us take a liking to his Lamont character, the only problem was that it doesn't seem like he ever actually took a liking to the character himself. Not sure if he feels differently now, but years after Sanford and Son was over, he also did a Jet magazine interview where he publicly went on record and detailed exactly what he hated about being on the show. And if y'all haven't realized by now, Demond is never one to filter his feelings nor his words, which makes what he actually revealed about his dislike for such a cult classic all the more interesting. During the interview, he said, "You can't say that Sanford and Son was dramatic, was serious. It was foolishness. I didn't watch it then, and I don't watch it now." Wait a minute. Did he call one of the greatest sitcoms of that era foolishness? Wow. But wait, there's more. Here's what else Demond confessed to Jet Mag. "I had it after the 3rd year of Sanford and Son. Nothing was real. When you first come into the newness of things, your first luxury car, your first Rolls Royce, your first Mercedes, your first house, all of those things seem exciting and thrilling. But after they were off, you're faced with reality, and the reality is that your life is empty. I had worked all of those years gearing myself for stardom, but the thing that I failed to do was to have a life. I barely knew my wife and children. I had gotten to a point in my life where I was spiritually low, and I'd tried just about everything else. I had fallen away from the Lord," said the Sanford and Son legend. Eventually, after all of his years of admitted substance use, the fame and the riches, Demond decided to become a preacher and leave the limelight, which is perfectly okay. As far as we know, he's still a preacher today and loves his calling, but it's difficult to ignore the fact that had he not had all of the success of his Lamont character, his family, himself, and his preaching notoriety might not be where they are today without his Sanford and Son legacy. Respect to the brother for sharing his true feelings, though. We all have regrets, and his road hasn't been an easy one, so his views are understandable somewhat. But his journey and his talent has positively touched the lives of millions across the world. And maybe that's something that should also never be forgotten, nor looked down upon by Demond, nor anyone else. Just saying. All right, I love old school music, fam. If you're digging this video, feel free to like, comment, and share it with your people. Thanks for watching. Peace.